in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Hello, good morning and welcome to National Discourse. And now we know that a significant event took place on Saturday, and that happens to be a significant event in our democratic dispensation. We are talking about the APC Congress that took place on Saturday. And then that Congress the Congresses were fraught with irregularities, allegations, and then controversies and other things that marred it. Now, how significant is this Congress that held across the nation, in the negative or in the positive? All of that is what we're going to be finding out today. We are discussing APC Congress. And then I am in the studio, not alone. I have someone with me in the studio. I have Barrister Douglas, who is here to do justice to that topic. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And welcome to
Thank you for having
TSTV.
me.
Thank you very much. And then we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll look at what's significant, or the significance of the APC Congress that have been just concluded. I still remain your host, Uche Uduma. We'll go for a short break now. Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
All right, moving forward, the former senator and former gubernatorial candidate of APC in Ebonyi State in 2015 have come up clearly to accuse the APC chairman, we're talking about John Oyegun, of his actions during the Congress being capable of returning the country or the party to the dark days, democratic days of PDP. I mean, how this is that statement? This was directed exactly to the national chairman of APC.
I didn't expect anything less from PDP in respect of this Congress. I knew that no matter how the perfection of the Congress, that definitely PDP will pick holes. It's natural, because being the party in opposition, they are not to say good things about the party in government. They have to pick holes. When PDP was in power, they didn't perform better. Their congresses were not better. What happened during the congresses, I was not really surprised. In fact, I was surprised in the positive because I expected bigger fights, bigger misunderstandings. One, APC, since they came into power,
Okay.
this was the first Congress that they organized. So they have never really tested the water. So even the crisis that came out from the Congresses, they were far less than I expected, because I think they were more pronounced in about 5 to 7 states: Imo, Adamawa,
Enugu.
Delta, Enugu, Rivers, then Ekiti. You understand? So if you weigh if you juxtapose the states where they had crisis and the states where they went smoothly, to me, I think give and take is a fairly good congresses for APC.
Really?
Yes.
Now, looking at it from the democratic angle, this is the first Congress they are holding.
Yes.
And they are the party in power. And then the way that this Congress went, do you think it has a negative effect on the party, so
No.
long as Nigeria is concerned?
No, it's actually good, because there is a saying that for gold to be beautiful, it has to go through fire. I don't see the crisis as negative. It's an opportunity for APC to test their strength, to test the strength of their eternal politics. At the end of the day, remember one thing: APC is a government in power. Being a government in power, the belief that when you have the ticket in your state, you is as good as you are elected. If you have the ticket in your local government, it's as good as you are elected. So that is why I'm not surprised that a lot of people are justly aligning and realigning to place themselves in positions that will, at the end of the day, favor them. Remember, democracy is all about interest. Politics is all about interest. It's even more pronounced in APC, because if you look at the various groups that came together to form APC, we have about 4 political parties coming together. Each of these political parties, they have their block interest to protect. You understand that, to project. Then, aside from that, there are individual interests. And there has always been, even during the PDP era, there has always been that strife between the federal politicians in quote and the local politicians, those in states.
Shortly before you continue,
Yes.
is there any clear difference between the people in PDP now and the
Yes.
people in APC now? Is there any clear difference? Because you keep saying APC, this is their first time, they want to test the water, you think it's good, what happened? And then compared to what happens in PDP.
Yes.
Is there any clear difference between the personalities in PDP now and the personalities in APC?
There's not much. The difference in terms of personalities.
And we're not talking about
yes.
the party.
Okay, good.
Because the parties make up of people.
The difference is like the difference between 6 and half a dozen. They are the same.
Okay.
They are the same.
So
but what I'm referring to is the party.
fine. Now,
Yes.
these people came under the umbrella of another party.
Yes.
They cross-carpeted and went to APC to form APC. In as much as APC is not made up of just people from PDP, but we have we have majority of them from PDP
yes.
going to APC.
Yes.
Now, if the Congress went the way it went, all right, we have seen reactions trailing the social media towards the Congress, just concluded Congress. If it went the way it went, and to you, it is okay for a standard as democracy.
It's expected.
It's expected, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. But my question is, if this is their first time of doing this,
Yes.
remember, majority of them have been doing this under PDP.
Yes.
The difference, is it on the party now or on the people that formed the party?
The people that formed the party will always influence the party policies.
So are you saying this is how PDP congresses have been, being held across the country?
Very well. PDP this time will have, by my expectation, will have a fairly better Congress. Why? They are not in power. When you are a political party in power, you have a bigger pie in front of you.
Okay.
You understand? To just for everybody will want a piece of the action. They want to strategize to place themselves in vantage positions. So it's expected. You get bigger fights, bigger crises from political parties that are in power during congresses like this.
All right, we'll come back to this. Now, let's move into the states that have experienced this crisis.
Yes.
Let's go to Enugu State. Now, between Dr. Tony Nwonye and
there's Anambra.
Chris Ngige, Anambra State, have there been any feud between them that is more private than what we saw on Saturday?
Yes, see, when they were preparing for that governorship election, Tony Nwonye surprised a lot of people, including me here, by clinching the ticket. Whether you like it or not, when you contest for something and you miss it, particularly something as big as a party ticket for you to run for governorship position in your state, it's not something you just let go like that. Nwonye believe that some members of APC, personalized or personalized by Igige, worked against him, or at best didn't support him, didn't work for him. He lost that election. So there is that bitterness. Even the statement he made that, look, I lost the election, but we all lost.
Yeah.
I have moved on, but a lot of people have not been able to rise beyond their failing point. You see the bitterness.
Okay. So there was no personal thing attached to it?
Of course, personal.
Apart from the party interest?
Political interest. I'm not aware of any other interest other than political interest. But Mr. Tony Nwonye has not forgiven a lot of people like Igige and some other individuals because he's holding them responsible for him losing that election.
And then he still went ahead to accuse him of trying to hijack the party in the state.
Yes, see, that's why at the beginning I said Abuja politicians and the local politicians in the states, there will always be that strife. Because of the proximity of the Abuja politicians to the power at the center, they are closest to the presidency. So they will always leverage on it, you understand, to the advantage and to the disadvantage of the local politicians. But again, politics is local. No matter where you are operating from, federal level or whatever, you have to come back to the basis. So that is why during these congresses, they all have to go to their basis, to their grassroots, to fight it and to slug it out. So there will always be that problem between federal politicians in Abuja and the ones at the states. The ones that they represent is represented by the governor, ministers, PAs, and the federal legislators. They will always clash with them, with the governors and the local politicians in the states. So when that fight, with Mr. Nwonye and Chris Igige clashing, it wasn't a surprise for me.
Now, the question I have for you next is, do you think there's division in APC that is so conspicuous?
Yes, no, they have disagreed, but there is no division.
There's no division?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay, can we move to Kogi State?
Okay.
If you can recall how the Congress was held in Kogi State, it's covered that there was a parallel congresses held across Kogi State at different party secretariats.
Yes.
And you still insist there's no division in the state?
Those are
in the party, sorry.
Those are disagreements. At the end of the day, they will come back together.
What is the slight difference between disagreement and division?
When there is a division, there is a break.
What kind of break?
You understand?
Because, sorry, before you answer that question. In Kogi State, we have the Audu Falake group.
Yes.
And then we have
Yaya Bello's group. Yes.
These are two factions.
Yes.
And you still maintain there is no division.
Yes.
In the party.
There's no division.
Fine. Still go ahead with the difference between division and disagreement.
When there's a division, there is a break. They have two factions.
Exactly what happened in Kogi State. We had two factions. The Audu Falake group, and then you have the Yahaya Bello group. These are two factions. Now, they didn't just disagree on principles. They went ahead and they have factions, and they held congresses at different secretariats. That is division for me. So, if at this point, looking at, don't worry, I'll still give you some instances.
Yes.
You know, I will still bring the governor of Imo State and the governor of Zamfara State. No, I'm not talking about that. And we're talking about having a sharp contrast for what happened on Saturday. Because you saw Rochas Okorocha running to Daura to tell the president, intimating him on what happened during the Congress. Yes. And then he now alleged, just in the state, that he should cancel in the state, that it was fraught with irregularities, controversies across the country, that it should be nullified and all that. And then we saw the governor of Zamfara State, the chairman of Governors Forum in Nigeria, came up to say that, no, it was peaceful in his state. And I think he mentioned the Kebbi, Katsina, Kanu, Zamfara, and Sokoto State.
Yes.
Now, when you have two different opinions, or you have two people in the same party, you know, speaking two different voices, and you still insist there is no division in APC.
Let me give you an example. Immediately after PDP's election they had last time, that produced the Prince Uche secondus, some people came together and created and opened the secretariat as new PDP. That is a division. That is a division. But that we are organizing a congress, national congress, party congress, and so people are holding divergence view, and they decide to hold a contrary congress. It's not a division. Fine, it's a crisis.
What is the difference between division, disagreement, and crisis? No, look at it from the objective point of view. What is the difference?
When people disagree and they cannot manage it, it becomes a crisis.
Okay.
When a crisis is not managed, it can lead to division of the party.
Good.
Yes.
So now,
where we have now, it's not a division.
Now we know what has trailed the national chairman of APC with the National Working Committee that he created and all that.
Yes.
There has been this issue. You're a lawyer.
Yes.
And most of these issues came to court. And at this point, you're still saying there's no division? Crisis, disagreement?
At the national level, do they have a fashion?
Yeah, some people clearly were not comfortable with the National Working Committee.
They are disagreeing, but they are not a fashion.
Okay, fine. Now, can we move to Kogi State? Okay. I'm so interested in that.
We are in Kogi already, yes.
Good. Now, moving over to Kogi State, the party formation there, with the just concluded Congress, was that disagreement, crisis, or division? Holding congresses at different places, different secretariats, and having two factions.
That is not a division.
What do you call that?
It is not a division.
What's the difference between what is happening in Kogi State in APC and what happened in PDP? What is the clear difference?
What happened in PDP? All that Prince Uche secondus and his principal officers, what they had, they duplicated them here and opened a secretariat. They had to use police to seal up that place.
Okay, now what you call division is when it happens at the apex authority of the party?
When you have, like in the case of PDP, they had PDP, they had new PDP.
Okay, because there was a name pronounced on it.
Yes.
Good.
PDP, new PDP.
Good. Now,
these people, they are disagreeing. Yes.
And then let me remind you that PDP was in power for 16 years. And then this division happened shortly before they left power, right?
Yes.
Good. Now APC just started.
Yes.
They've just put in 3 years, roughly.
Yes.
And next year is an electionary year.
Yes.
Now, how do you compare these two people, these two parties?
Beautiful. See, 1999, when PDP took power, the level of political awareness among us, we Nigerians, was, I wouldn't say low, but not as pronounced as it is now. Even that 99, a lot of political gladiators were not interested because they thought that possibly the military were going to play games on them. The political awareness we have now was not there. Even common people walking on the street, meet them. A lot of them today, no sessions, and they can quote the Constitution for you. They know sessions of the Constitution. They will quote it for you. In 1999, it was not there. So the level of political awareness as at that time, a lot of people were submissive then. More so, people's eyes were not that open to the enjoyment in quote at the benefit of political offices.
Are you a politician?
Unlike
Are you a politician? It's a very straight question.
I'm a politician, but not a practicing politician yet.
Okay, but you have interest in politics. You know,
Very
there's
well.
difference between
Very well.
being
Very
a
well.
partisan and then non-partisan.
Partisan. I'm a politician, but not partisan. But I'm interested in politics.
Okay, and your interest is moving towards APC?
No.
Really?
Yes.
All right, we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, I'll be able to pick your calls very shortly after the break, and we'll continue with this discussion to evaluate the just concluded APC Congress to see reactions from people of beautiful Nigerian country. Please stay with us. Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation
The
building.
administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption. We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa Yang Nakama. They are like Agberu in the markets.
Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
All right, you welcome back from that short break. Sorry we couldn't pick your calls. Now you can get us. Call the number you'll see on the screen shortly for us to take your contribution or your questions. And so far we've had our guest, Barrister Douglas, trying to defend what happened in APC during APC Congress as normal. And we are still on that. So your thoughts are very important to us and some questions for him to answer. So, sir, we were somewhere before we went for that break. Now, we have looked at Enugu State, what happened in Enugu State.
Yes.
And Imo State slightly, but...
Sorry, that's Anambra.
Sorry, Anambra State. Now, coming back to Imo State, what do you think happened there?
You see, what happened in Imo shocked me in a way that I expected a bigger crisis. What happened in Imo, compared to the indices that were on ground before the Congress, I expected bigger crisis from Imo. Because before the Congress, everybody is aware, it's no longer a secret, that the governor, Rochas Okorocha, already positioned the son-in-law to take over from him. He has a deputy who naturally, by virtue of his position, being the deputy governor, want to inherit the position. Go to become the governor. By virtue
of the position, but
as the deputy governor.
As the law stipulates.
No.
Good.
You understand? Because of their proximity to the position. Putting, without even pretending, putting your son-in-law in line to follow you already annoyed a lot of people in Imo. I knew they wouldn't go down without a fight.
Okay, but the question shortly is, was that outside the ambit of the law provision?
Of course. See, no, first and foremost, anybody can aspire, whether his son, his daughter, his son-in-law.
So from the legal perspective,
they are qualified.
It was okay.
Yes, it is
All
okay.
Right. All right.
But him, the governor, now positioning the son-in-law is insulting the sensibility of others.
Why?
How? It's give and take. Politics is give and take.
You just said from the angle of the law.
Yes.
anybody can contest.
Yes.
Good. So why is this a challenge? That he's trying to bring out his son-in-law.
Yes.
Now, it is not a political appointment.
Yes.
If we can remind ourselves that
yes.
gubernatorial position is through election.
Yes.
Now, if someone is being positioned, remember there's going to be an election to take place.
Yes.
So why is it a challenge that is his son-in-law that he brought out?
Let us not pretend. The influence governors have in the election of those that will replace them. One just played out less than 12 hours ago. Fayose had never pretended that his deputy will replace him. All that we saw yesterday, that election they had to produce the standard bearer, were just to fulfill all righteousness. So when I had last night, when I had the result of that election, I just smiled. I would have been shocked if it were the other way around. So let us not say because he is an elected position and is projecting his son-in-law, let everybody go and contest. No. In states who control the apparatus, everything, the police, even to a very large extent, the Electoral Commission in the state.
What party does Rochas Okorocha belong to?
APC.
Okay. And to you, APC is doing very well, like going from your statement, like we started with. The outcome of the Congress was not too shocking because expected more to have happened.
Yes.
Good. So how do you reconcile those statements?
I don't understand.
Good. Now, when we started, you said what happened across the country during the Congresses, that you were not really shocked because you expected more to happen.
Yes.
So why is Imo State, whatever thing that happened in Imo State, Rochas Okorocha bringing his son-in-law, why is it shocking to you? Or why is it a challenge to you that he's trying to bring out his son-in-law?
No. When I said I was surprised, I expected a bigger fight.
It's the same fight
if Imo slide into crisis, political crisis, I would not be surprised. Because even the party executives in Imo, the party organ in Imo, they are not in support of what Rochas is trying to do. So that is why during the Congress, he was now at the receiving end. He was now he was not the one crying or shouting, possibly shouting or crying for help. You understand? And he should have expected it. See, when you are the governor, there is an extent you can go.
Okay.
You understand? There is an extent you can go. When you go beyond that, it will backfire.
I think we have a call. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Please, can you tune down the volume of your TV set? Your name is what? Your name is Alex from Benue State? All right, please go ahead.
I can hear your guest saying that it's the government. And it's not governor of one, governor of one, and governor of one is God. And yes, God. That people go around. Now, I just want to say, who are dying in the country salary, they are only one. And it's very Alex. And I tell you that what is it that somebody to sign this country, and there's money to fly out all over the country, and there's money to send us and other things. People are dying, they don't have some countries are who are looking for money. And so I know money is on the air right now. And I can just so that and it's not like that. So they're not going to just share blood and pain in Nigeria. It's the great people of Buhari. And what I want to do, what is going to other people? So there's someone there to do something. Okay, either it's gone all over the
All right. All right, all right. Thank you very much. The guest is right here, and he will react to this, but that'll be shortly. You're correct. He will react to what you just said, but we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, he'll go straight to it. Thank you very much, Alex, for calling. Sir, we would expect you to react to this, but we'll go for a short break now, and when we come back, you heard everything he said. You will take them one after the other. Thank you very much.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa Yan Nakama. They are like Agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa Yan Nakama. They are like Agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has another tone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
All right, so welcome back from that break. Now, before we went on a break, we had the last caller who spoke about that you are trying to support the government, that the government has not done enough. I'm just trying to give you a recap of what he said, because you say you didn't hear him very well. Now, he's saying that you should stop saying that the government or the party has done well that people are dying, there is no jobs and all that. He gave instances towards the direction that the government have not done well. So, of course, it's for you. So, like, I expect you to react to it.
I think he misunderstood my statement. I didn't speak for the government. That they have done well as regard the congresses that the party organized, not the performance of the government.
We'll still come back to performance of the government.
Yes,
because
so that is not the area I spoke on. So the question was my take on the congresses, the organization, the outcome. That is where I say, well, they have done fairly well, because the crisis, what they had during the crisis, the congresses were crisis.
And not division.
Not division, okay. At least yet, not division yet. It may snowball into divisions if not properly managed. See, they expected it. So that is why, as they were planning the congresses, part of their plans or what they did were to set up appeal committees. It is not possible. Even in a club of as little as 6 people, there will always be dissenting voices. There will always be people that will not agree with the plans of the majority. So they set up appeal committees to look into such such complaints. So in terms of organize the congresses that took place last weekend, I think they have done well.
Okay, now let's move over
in spite of the pockets of crisis. Let's
move over to Enugu State. Now, what happened in Enugu State? Before I ask what happened, my question is, APC, as you're claiming, is an organized party.
Yes.
As you're claiming. Good. And I believe they have a working constitution.
Yes.
Good. Now, what informed the opinion of people to sit in certain hotel and demand that people from Abuja, APC nationals from Abuja, should come down to the hotel and address them if APC is an organized party that have a working constitution?
I said the crisis were expected because of the various blocks, different people, different parties that joined together to form APC. That by virtue of that, it was not possible for them to go through elective processes without disagreements, because they all have their block interest to protect. Further down, their individual interest to protect. I also said that if the trouble or the problems that have always been there between Abuja politicians and the local politicians in states was what really played itself out in the case of Anambra between Chris Igige and Tony Nwoye. Chris Igige, coming from Abuja, took the Congress to a hotel. Nwoye opposed that he was hijacking the job of the committee. You understand? So all that played out in Anambra was still that issue of Abuja politicians versus the local politicians in the states. Because Nwoye represents the local politicians in Anambra. So what played out during the last Anambra election didn't really go down well with Nwoye, because he was in the eye of the storm, being the contestant, though representing APC. First and foremost, he suffered that personal loss. APC suffered that loss, but Nwoye suffered a personal loss by losing that election. So he has his own grudges.
Okay, so for some people to demand for some official address to be held in the...
That was wrong.
Really?
Sure.
It wasn't expected.
It was wrong.
It was wrong.
I expected that there will be quarrels and disagreements. Particularly, I said, like in some states. One of them is Anambra. You understand? And see, let me tell you, there is no good politician.
We know.
There is no good politician. every politician, first and foremost, has his interest to protect and to project. Umoje is not a better politician than Igigi, and vice versa.
No,
it's just that he's smarter.
We are not contesting.
I understand. It's just that a smarter, or let me say, they will all want to outsmart themselves because it's a matter of interest.
Oh, okay. I would want us to move over to Ekiti State, and this is actually what happened, what played out in Ekiti State.
Yes.
And I would want you, you keep saying it's expected, it's party,
yes,
and all that. So after this video, I would want your reaction to it, if your stand would still be the same thing. And then what baffles me is we have security operatives all over the place,
yes,
guarding everything, and then things still went sour. At this moment, we have not heard people were arrested and detained because of this.
Yes.
This disruption. I mean, this is democratic process.
Yes.
And then we have guidelines on those things.
Yes.
Now, if you can see clearly, you see that you have uniformed men all over. They were trying to be persuasive instead of doing their work.
They were actually pampering the talks.
Exactly. And if APC have done well in their Congress, and we still experience, or we are seeing party or political thuggery in it, will your stance still be the same thing?
In Ekiti,
yes,
APC missed it.
Okay.
You can't draft 33 candidates to the field, and you expect not to get something like this.
So now, clearly, was that division within the people?
Crisis.
Was there crisis
no
or
division.
disagreement?
Yes, no division. These are people fighting to project themselves. You understand? And it was not. See, APC missed it in Ekiti. Why? When you have 33 people jostling for one position, I didn't expect APC to fold his hands and expect all of them to go to the field. They missed it. There should have been compromises. There should have been compromises, agreement, creating of a consensus to reduce the number.
And whose duty was it to have done that before
the party,
we saw this ugly incident played out?
The party. From the national level, yes. Okay. They should have called them, persuade them, offer them alternatives. You understand? Let them reach compromises. Reduce that 33. If you can't get 2 or 3 or 5, at least let's say 10. You can't have 33 people in the field just live for one position. And none of these 33 people is a small fish. These are big politicians. You understand? Haven't drafted them at that level. It is very easy for any of them to have said, fine, maybe if they had called them in a meeting, it would have been very easy for one to say, fine, I'm stepping down for this person. I'm stepping down for this person. If I'm stepping down for so and so person this time for the governorship position, when the period comes for election into national houses or national assembly, senate or whatever, can I go for that? They reach compromises, give and take. They negotiate.
If the Congress, like you're still maintaining,
yes,
is suspected,
that was a failure.
Outcome,
it was a failure.
Good.
No.
This blame goes to them.
It goes to APC, yes.
With all this we've seen across the country during the Congress, where do you think it puts the APC? What kind of light do you think it puts APC on? Looking at the fact that next day's election and we have roughly 1 year to go.
Let me tell you something.
I'm listening.
Politicians are not stupid. They are smart. Let them do the fighting. I do not expect anybody to leave APC. Worst case scenario, they will compromise and re-strategize.
Now, I am not really talking about the people in the party.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the party members. I'm talking about
Nigerians.
Yes. Having in mind that election is coming up next year.
Yes.
Now, this Congress, the outcome of the Congress, in your own words, you say is crisis.
Yes, crisis,
right.
not
Good.
division.
Not division, good. Now, the outcome of this Congress, what impact do you think it will have on the masses who are the voters we have in the election that's coming up next year?
It's going to be very minimal. The the outcome of the Congress, excuse me, will have less impact on the fortunes of APC in the general election than the performance of APC government in terms of governance.
Let us move over to governance, because the last person that called slightly deviated and talked about the governance of APC while we're talking about the Congress. Well, it is okay. So from the Congress now, let's move a little bit to your reactions, talking about the effect
APC
of the outcome on the people. Now, the APC administration, would you say that this administration have done well in roughly 3 years?
It has done well in some areas. It has failed woefully in some areas.
What's your benchmark like? If you are to rate or within the percentage of 0 to 100?
51%.
51%, and that's a pass mark.
It's a pass mark.
Okay, so what areas are we looking at that these people have done well?
But it's not an excellent result.
We know 51 is a pass mark.
Yeah, it's not an excellent result. It's average.
That's C. If you have to grade from YF.
Yes.
So it means it's more than pass?
Yes.
You're going to credit?
Yes.
Good. So what informs your opinion about this?
First, let me talk about the fight against corruption.
Okay.
When you are fighting corruption, you have to look at, you cannot fight corruption as in with your individual strength.
Okay.
You use institutions, the judiciary, number one. The institutions have been there right from time. These 3 years, or a little more than 3 years, will not be enough to change the institutions. It will take time. So right now, if you take up 10 corruption cases, if you take them up, if the government is able to succeed in 4, the government would have done well. Because considering the decay in the institutions that the government inherited.
Okay. It still baffles me that at this point we still talk about inherited problems or challenges. Now, when a government comes into power, in as much as we know that there's supposed to be continuity, like it's supposed to be in chain, all right? This person stops from here. This person comes to power and picks up from where the person stops. Now, at this point, this is roughly 3 years or over 3 years, should we still be talking about the things that we inherited? And if you're talking about the fight against corruption, look at it critically. Do you think it has been lopsided, or is the actual fight
lopsided because the government has not been looking at the people in his party?
I just asked. So you are to react to that.
If it's lopsided?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the second time you're agreeing that there's actually something wrong.
Yes.
Somewhere. Good.
I'm
coming.
Yes.
If you're fighting corruption, and you make it lopsided, you just fight the opposition party. The aim of the corruption or corruption fight, do you think is defeated?
Fine. You are fighting corruption and not fighting it well, or not fighting it perfectly. It's better than not fighting it at all.
What do you call that process? Like, you are supposed to do this, but you're not doing the way you're supposed to do it. What do you call that process? You said you're fighting corruption.
Yes.
We are fighting it in the other angle. You are overlooking people that are very close to you, and you're not fighting them because of affiliation, party affiliation or something. What do you call that?
It's not a good one.
Any? Is that corruption?
It's not a good one. I wouldn't call it corruption, but it's not a good one.
Okay.
It's not a good one.
Okay.
You understand? See, I'm not a fan of this government, funny enough. I'm not a fan of this government because I know the number of calls I get on a daily basis, which are now putting pressure on me because of the way this government is adversely affecting people economically.
Okay.
So I'm not a fan of this government. But that said, and that notwithstanding, I should not get too sentimental. I have to say it as it is, at least from my personal perspective.
Sure.
You understand? In terms of corruption, like I said, you're fighting corruption, you are not fighting it well. It's better than not fighting it at all. And possibly encouraging it.
Okay, now
you understand?
You're fighting corruption, you're not fighting it well. It's better than not fighting
it at all.
Now, if you're fighting corruption and then you are allegedly supposed to have recovered some monies, and those monies, the whereabouts of those monies or what they are being done with is not in the public domain, what do you call that?
Until it is proven that those money are embezzled or are stolen. You understand? I wouldn't call it anything like...
I don't get it.
Yes.
You're fighting corruption
now.
Right, let's take it slowly. You're fighting corruption.
And you are making recoveries.
You have tried to recover some money.
Yes.
Some have returned to you.
Yes.
Right? This is public funds they were stolen.
Yes.
So making such information not very available at the public domain, like what those monies have been used or where are they, what do you call that?
I would not call it corruption.
Okay.
But it's not good for the government.
All right.
It's a misnomer.
Okay, so what do you think he should have done, to put or to carry the people of Nigeria along?
First and foremost, you let people know how much you recover at every point in time and how much you have recovered so far and what you intend to do with the money.
Sorry, I have a call. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. This is Ibrahim on the line.
Ibrahim, where are you calling from, please?
From Niger State.
From Niger State. Mina, okay, please, can you tune down the volume of your TV set?
Okay.
All right.
So, what I'm saying is that it's about what is it called, Imo State.
Imo State, okay.
Yes, I'm still on Rochas. Rochas, the way I see Rochas, he's just being perhaps himself. Secondly, what he's doing in the state is trying to restructure and generated a lot of issues that will affect him now and later and all his generation. Because I've never seen a way that they will say, father rule, son rule, and the 5 generation also rule, and people are capable in that sense. They are good. They are loyal to you for all over this year, and you cannot bring anybody else. That one is his personal reason and he's being biased himself. So, Roger, I think if I want to say, you can't judge anybody by his tribe or his ethnicity or religion. Anybody you see doing something, that is his attitude, and that's what he is. So nobody should judge anybody by all this that I mentioned. So Roger should go back home and beg the people there, and he should bring somebody credible out. It's not the party that is at fault, it's Roger himself that is at fault. So
all right.
Me, you can see I'm not anything for mistake. So Roger should do the right thing to himself so that everything should go very peaceful. It should not go para. So that is for now.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for calling. And you happen to be our last caller for the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've heard what he said, and we don't have much time on us. So we're trying to wrap up.
Yes.
All right. We'll have a discussion on the performance of this government, and we'll invite you to come over. Okay. So we won't delve into it now because of time. Okay. So in a bit to wrap up, the APC Congress have come and gone. And looking at Rochas Okorocha's report to the president, do you think there's every likelihood of of cancelling these congresses?
Across the country.
Yes. Let me quote Rochas.
Yes.
He says that the Congress in a state was made with irregularities, controversies, and every other thing. And then after he said about his state to the president, he now said the same thing applies across the country. So with him running down to Daura to see the president on Sunday after Saturday's Congress, are you seeing any possibility of probably the cancellation of the outcome or the results from these congresses?
No. And if they cancel
and not even in Imo State?
if they cancel it, they can cancel. Not maybe in a state they just cancel the whole exercise. They can cancel in some wards, some local government, and all of it.
Okay. And you think it's not going to affect the whole country?
The whole country. There might be maybe here they will cancel like 3 wards, 5 wards, 1 ward. There are some they will not cancel. To me, that Congress should stay. After all, they already set up a P committee. If you are aggrieved,
go to the committee.
Yes.
Okay. Today we didn't talk about the government, all right?
Yes.
We just slightly put in 1 or 2 things. So there's no need to tell us to go grab our PVCs and all that, but we'll have the discussion. Maybe you have to come back to the studio where we sit down properly and talk about the APC-led government.
Yes.
Yeah, what they have done good, and then if there's any possibility of them returning to power next year. But until then, I still remain your host, Uche Uduma. Thank you very much, sir, for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We'll meet again tomorrow for interesting episodes. You can follow our social media handles. They're running on the screen, where you can give us a feedback, your contribution, and your questions. And for the calls we could not pick today, we'll pick calls tomorrow. Stay tuned.